7:44 here on your Friday morning wake-up call. It is time for Friday at Fuzz, so I'll hand it over to Mr. Michael Greene.
Thank you, Derek. In studio with us today, as most all Fridays, is Elgin's Chief of Police, Jeff Swoboda. Welcome, Jeff. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys. Welcome. For welcoming
me. Well, no. When you're in the room, it's kind of like your room. So you're welcoming us. It's
welcome to my radio station.
All right. Sorry.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Jekyll's listening right now. What did he say? Anyway,
oh,
it's pretty good, wasn't it?
That was good.
Yeah, I know. All right, so couple things going on this week. A lot of pressure. Very well, maybe my last Friday with the Fuzz. Pretty busy week.
It has been a real busy week. Yeah.
Started out well. There's some things that kind of happened before it, but for the week anyway, for us, while we're on air, your Facebook page again, always great about posting updates. And I think when I first got here, I saw an initial notice at about 5:30 in the morning or 5 in the morning, somewhere in there, that there was a barricade situation. Or I don't think the initial report said barricade. There was a police incident.
Yeah, diverting traffic.
Right, and there was like one road closed, and then the next update a little bit after that was that there was a second road, or maybe the other entrance, the other way into that road was closed. And then I think helicopters were in the air.
Yeah, not ours.
It had to be kind of a big thing, right?
Yeah.
And evidently a gentleman had barricaded himself inside the home with 3 small children. Can you tell us a little bit more about the incident? And I know your Bat vehicle, I think, was out there, right? The Batmobile.
Yeah, it was probably early morning hours. Well, not probably, but I think it was 2 or 3. Yeah. And there was a disturbance inside the home, and at some point a couple people got battered and pushed out of the house, and a couple of the small children were left inside the house. 3 kids not belonging to him wasn't letting them out of the car, out of the house. And so they called. Our initial officers tried to negotiate with them, tried to get them to come out, let the kids out, and then usually that happens with patrol for a little while, and the supervisors and the officers on the scene kind of see, okay, this guy's not budging. We need, going to need more resources out here, and make sure that we handle this correctly. You're not sure what people are thinking when they're in that kind of state of mind. Is there going to harm to the kids that are coming? They're not his kids, so really
did you know at that point early on that they weren't his kids?
Oh yeah.
Does that make it scarier just because less invested, obviously? I mean, they're not his children, or
it definitely makes it much more difficult. Yeah, it's when you're
dealing with things, right?
Exactly. When you're doing things with when you're negotiating with someone inside their own home, and maybe there are kids there, and we've had this many times at domestic, and maybe the husband or wife leaves and the other one stays behind with the kids, and the person might be intoxicated or on drugs, and so we're there. So now the person's in their own home, they have their own kids inside their own home, so it's a different type of negotiation, because the person may, in their mind, even though they might not be thinking clearly, think, well, no, the kids are safe, they're inside their own bed, I'm not going to open up, there's no reason for me to open up, I'm inside my own house. Where now this person has them, locked and trapped inside their home. So the kids are certainly going to be scared. Where are my parents at? And so this went on for hours. And so
it was a little after 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, right?
The situation where he was he was apprehended.
Yeah, and so it made the news media. So we had some helicopters up quickly. At that time of day, a lot of times it happens anyways, because they may be having checking some road conditions, traffic, so they're able to just scoot over and see it. And the optics were, on TV. It's interesting. Obviously, you see the Bat out there. You see an armored, vehicle right in front. You see some of our technical response team members that are out there. And this is another example of just what a great purchase that vehicle was, and how much sense it makes. We use it routinely.
To the home, right?
I was a negotiator for a number of years, and
really?
Usually we would have to be hiding behind. Either we'd bring up a shield and have to be hiding behind a shield, because some people would say, well, what makes you think he has a gun? And that's not the way we think. It's we were going to assume he has a gun. Yes, and we're not going to be standing in the line of fire until he proves that he has it. But again, that's the mentality that some people have. Mm-hmm. So you just laugh and say, okay. So we'd be hiding behind trees. We'd be yelling.
We'd be
exactly right. Yeah, I'd like to go home at the end of the shift.
Yeah.
And so we'd have a bullhorn, we'd be yelling things. I mean, we would, start, almost like a teenage kid trying to get his girlfriend's attention, throw rocks at windows, trying to, get somebody to come out.
Anything you could.
Anything we could. And so nowadays, we're able to, and so it would take much longer. Our negotiations at those times would take, with a bullhorn, you can block that out pretty easy. Well, now what we've got is with the bat, we're able to get we're able to get right up on somebody's front porch. They know we're not going away. They look out. They see that vehicle, staring them right back in the face. We have a negotiator who is now protected, can sit in the front seat of that with a loudspeaker that if we wanted to turn it all the way up, I mean, I could blow out your windows. Yeah, you hear it, and so there's not sure that the police are talking to me. And so we were able to pull it right up to the front, have somebody right there talking with them. It gives cover for our tactical response team members, and makes the situations end much quicker. And so it was. So we use that vehicle, if not weekly, because sometimes multiple times a week, because we don't know, we get it rolling, it does no good for us at the station. So if we have something that's even borderline, we're not sure, a man with a gun call hidden up in a house, well, somebody who's at the station will hop in that and just started going that way. So it was a great investment for the officers. I know we love it. We really appreciate that the city council approved that, and so we use it all the time. So we were able to be right there. We were able to talk with the person. At one point, we broke a window so we could get we call it a throw phone, which is for our negotiators, and then the phone rings and gets the person to come out. But as soon as our tactical response team broke a window to get the phone inside, person then surrendered.
How long would you sit outside in a negotiation process like this? I mean, again, I'm going to go, to our old host days. I saw in a movie, right, where
so shout out to Mike, right?
Mike's listening. Mike's listening. Throw it out to him. They threw tear gas in and rushed the house, and ever been a part of a situation like that? Like, what's the tipping point? Like, how? I'm sure there's not a time. Like, you go to page 72 in the book, and it says, all right, after 7 hours, enter home forcefully. It doesn't say like that, right? But that decision's got to be, let's go in, because, man, some bad things can happen. Not only to the officers, but the children.
Oh, absolutely.
Any other domestic partners that might be in there, anything.
Yeah, they're all judgment calls. I mean, there really is no, one kind of standard one is once we know that violence is occurring inside, we're going. The first officers know that. Our SWAT team members always, as quickly as possible, have a react team ready, and then as soon as somebody inside there, the first instance we had that a child was being harmed, we were going to go in. We were going to go in, and whether that be the first officers, whether it be our tactical response team officers, whether it's driving the bat through the front door,
something that comes all the way up to you?
No, people on the scene. And those officers know. Yeah, there's certain rules that we have that we know when something happens, we're going to go, and that's as soon as harm starts happening. What happened before we get there, and again, these are talking very broad kind of guidelines. What happened before we got there, that's almost in the past. So we show up, we know, okay, now we're going to start the negotiation. So at that point, if anything happens from that point on, we're moving. What's already happened, then those are the discussion points. There was discussion on this one. How quick are we going to go? We got 3 kids in there that aren't his. How long are we going to sit out here and not let them, be apart with their family? And their family's worried, obviously, as well. So those are discussions. I've negotiated myself with for, I think it was 15 hours with an empty house. And so we had a report of nobody was in there. And so there was discussion, and we thought the person was asleep. And this is going back, probably 15 years ago. Every report was that he was still in there, and we were out there and we were yelling. I believe it was up on Spring Street or something. But eventually when we went, he wasn't there. He already left.
Cleared every room.
Every left. He wasn't there. Yeah. And we've had other ones where we've had homicides occur, and you're deciding what's the condition of the person inside there, as far as if somebody's hurt, if somebody's, are they going to get more and more injured, are they losing blood, all those types of things. So there's always discussions that go on, and what I really like is the team that we have, Jim Lally, who's the tactical response team commander, working in line with whoever is the incident commander, which is usually our patrol supervisor who's there first, and then many times the commander will show up. And so then there's discussion with those. I show up on some of them. I was on this one, depending on the seriousness of it. And so, because we'll have many negotiations that people won't even know about. It'll be a 20-minute, half-hour, 45-minute negotiations, and the patrol officer who's there is negotiating with somebody through a window, and it can be kind of dicey, but it eventually ends fine, and nobody hears about it. So,
can't you just throw etch out on everyone?
Etch was there. Etch was out on that. Yeah, exactly. And actually, the nice thing is Etch knows just about everybody in the city. We have a few officers who know almost everybody in Elgin, so we generally like to have them nearby.
I can just see him just cooling everything down. Everything's great.
Okay, let me just talk to the guy. Everybody back up. Right? Yeah, we definitely don't do that. Where some people think, I'm coming in unarmed. I'm going to trade the children for 3 officers. I mean, the stuff you see on TV. And that's unfortunately where a lot of people get their references on what we're doing with the police. I mean, it was funny. Somebody told me, I guess people are questioning, do we need the bat out there? And I said, okay. Let them keep questioning that. Thank you.
A lot of talk recently, too. Again, you guys are very transparent as much as you can be in certain situations. And, I know a lot of things are going on behind the scene that you can't always, talk about. And one of those incidents, there was a report of a shooting on Peachtree Lane. I think it was last week or Sunday. And it makes a lot of noise. Whoa, another shooting in Elgin. As it turns out, it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And I think you guys thought that immediately, but didn't have the full investigation done yet. So you can't really say that this is exactly what happened, because you were, in fact, I don't believe we're 100% sure of that, right?
Right. Yeah.
You got to give it its due process.
Exactly. So we're going to investigate. So last Sunday afternoon, I guess it was evening.
Just about 6, yeah.
6 o'clock, and we got the call. Went out there, gunshot victim, and we're then, figured out what's going on. We're getting one story from the victim. Other people were there, giving us a story. Officers and detectives were on scene. Quickly kind of realized this isn't really adding up. We're able to do some very good investigative work while they were out there, kind of get some conflicting stories from people, kind of blow up what people were saying was happening. And we're able to determine that the person shot themselves. However, prior to knowing that for certain, we have somebody who's out there who, they're on, they just got shot. The fire department's out there. The police department makes a lot of people, social media being what it is, people then start talking, somebody was shot out here, this is going on. So we're always, as quickly as we can, we're going to put out the facts. And the facts at that time was we're investigating, someone who was shot out on Peachtree. Knowing that, this one's kind of fishy. We weren't thinking it was going to go the route of, some type of investigation where he was shot, because the story wasn't adding up. But we put it out there. And, of course, then, people will jump on another one. Here we go. Elgin's as bad as whatever. Right. And so, you let those people just, run their keyboards. And then knowing that as we go, we eventually turned it into, see, George's either happy or not. I don't know. He agrees, I think. And then shortly thereafter, we were able to determine that the person shot themselves. So then we put that press release out. Now you can't, as I said to the city council, you can't put that genie back in the bottle, right? So people already heard, there was another shooting. No, that person shot themselves. And there are others that we're investigating, but we can't. That one we could prove, and that he shot himself. So we were able to not do that and actually charge him for wasting all of our time with coming out with this bogus story. There are others that are out there as well that we're continuing to investigate that we believe are very similar. So as people are talking about with the number of shootings and all the things going on, always kind of take that with a grain of salt. When some of them, if something happened right now, if you can imagine, if there was some type of incident in here and the police came in, we would all, me, you, Barrick, we'd all probably have a pretty similar stories to what happened. The chief was talking, he was sitting here. When you get people who don't want to tell you and want to lie and want to kind of throw us off course, it's, Derek was in the bathroom, you were somewhere over here, and it's like, no, and so everyone's story. So it takes a while. And many times people are always, trying to jump, what's going on with that? Why is there no update? It's like, well, we're still trying to figure out what the heck happened. Right. Okay? When we get it, we've proven our record is very clear. When we know what happened, you're going to find out about it. We're going to put it out. We're putting it on press release. I think we did 5 press releases this week. We've done, I think Christy just ran the numbers for how many social media updates we've done since the beginning of the year. I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds, if not even past 1,000. I don't even know. But we do probably... I challenge anyone to find more, Facebook posts or press releases than the Elgin Police. I mean, Chicago does.
Right.
It's a little different. But we put it out, and we put it out very quickly. And so...
I follow the King County Sheriff's Police as well, and I mean, unless it's something snow-related, I almost hardly ever see anything from them.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we put it out, and so I think it helps, and a lot of times we put a lot of the good stuff out, because what we're really trying to do here in Elgin is make sure people get a real understanding of what's going on with their police department.
Yeah.
It's not all bad. but it's also not all good. I mean, it's a little bit of everything. I've got this thing here.
You've got great things. You posted the video from your city council, conversation. I mean, let everybody see what's going on.
If you see officers out playing, football in the street, we see people going. In fact, we've got this newsletter I'll talk about next week. But I was surprised to see when we opened it up all the different things. How great it was. It's called the Beyond the Red and Blue Lights, and it's all of our activities from cleaning up a park to playing basketball to Cop on Top to cleaning up along the river. All those things are great, and they're happening. And you know what? We also still have a shooting here. We also still have gang members who do dumb things and get involved in trouble. And we'll have a robbery. So it's not one or the other. We're putting everything out there. And so people are very informed in Elgin. The people who follow our Facebook page, and the credit really goes to Christy, we put the information out there so people know what's going on. CrimeReports.com, another great tool that we put out there that anybody can check what's going on in their neighborhood. And so what I like is that the citizens of Elgin, through the neighborhood meetings I go to our chiefs meetings, to walk talks, very informed.
Chiefs meeting.
Exactly. So when some person starts, oh my God, it's back to the mid-'90s, the vast majority of everyone rolls their eyes and says, okay, we get it. We know what's going on. You guys are just letting us know. Like I told you before, we've had shootings in Elgin where years gone by where the press would call and the supervisor say, no, pretty quiet night. And we all kind of look like, quiet night? Nothing. I haven't had, I haven't sat down in 8 hours. We've been running shooting to shooting and stuff. And it never made the paper. Where now everything we do is pretty much going on our Facebook page. So I love shows like this where we can talk about things. So I think the average citizen's pretty educated and doesn't get swayed by, people who want to, call Elgin all kinds of names or say how bad Elgin is, because people who live here know there's a lot of great things that are going on, and the police department's a big part of it.
There's opportunities too, just like anything. Absolutely. Like you said, you put it all out there.
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking at this. We're 31st safest city in America. Why can't we be 30th, 25th, and that's the goal. There's a lot of work. We have our crime stats. We'll talk about them next week. We're down significantly for our Part 1 crime for the first 7 months. But there's still a lot of work to do. There's still robberies that are occurring far too often. There's still aggravated batteries. We're talking about these shootings. Those we want to get down to 0. So there's a lot of work to be done, but we're definitely on the right path. And so I appreciate all the community and all their work, because we wouldn't be able to do it without the help of the community.
Chief Swoboda there, going all Derrick Rose, Derek, with the, why can't I be the MVP?
Yeah. Why not us?
Why not us? Why not
Derrick Rose said that?
Remember I said that a couple of years ago, and then he was the MVP?
Why not us?
Yeah. Be in the season. You're like, why not us?
Why not us? Why can't all of us be Joe Reardon on the front page of this Nader magazine?
There was one other one I wanted to talk about, and I know we're right at our time. Real quick though, just because social media, you made reference to it. There was an incident, the 8th. What was the day of that? Was that Saturday night? Somebody evidently established a relationship with somebody through Facebook.
Yeah.
The person was from out of the city, but agreed to meet, met, and then go to a park together. Next thing you know, there's other people there. You never know what you're walking into like that, right? And then I know we've talked about meeting at the police station or something, to do like the Craigslist purchases and things like that, but. Just be careful, right? I mean, people can hide behind identities or make up their own, so many different things can go on with
You don't know who they are, right? So this person, they met on, you hit it on the head, they met on Facebook, said, let's meet, and they met in a park, and unfortunately, once they parked, other people jumped out of the car and tried to rob the victim, and he was able to get away, and he wasn't hurt, but was able to get a great description. Obviously, we had some of the Facebook stuff, so we were able to arrest this young lady for setting that up. So, yeah, you got to be very careful now. We do the Craigslist stuff in the lobby of the police department. I'm not sure if we're going to start letting people who are dating meet in the lobby of the police department. Maybe a little coffee shop and we got some picnic tables out in front, so we'll see if we can go that way. But all seriousness, you got to be careful on these things online, because social media, and anybody can start a page and call it whatever they want. We see all kinds of goofy things that people put, non-factual, just lies out there, and and you read it and you're like, oh my God, are people really falling for this and believing it? And it's like, well, they're following it and liking it. It's like, this person doesn't have a clue what's going on, unfortunately. Yeah. So,
repost this to win an opportunity for a new Mercedes or whatever.
Whatever.
I'm like, really? No,
I know.
I don't think Mercedes is giving me a car just to repost this.
Right. Yeah. So
I'm not touching that.
Everyone be careful, but it's going to be a great weekend. It's going to be some nice weather, and it'll be exciting, right, Christy?
Nice and steamy. We'll be here next week. You'll have Mr. Rankin and Derek Cooley here with you. So if you're here in the studio, enjoy that.
Exciting, yes.
You might tune in Friday for this.
Might you?
That might be the only one.
All right. We'll talk big stuff. Maybe we'll talk some crime numbers. We'll talk some other things. Derek, we're gonna turn it up a notch.
Yes,
right?
we are.
Let's go.
As always.
Thank you, Chief Swoboda. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for having us.
You're listening to AM 1410 WRMF
and Elgin.